Okay, so cracking straight on with domain 5. As the slide suggests, it's content updates and content management. This really is settled around the marketplace, creating your own content, wants you to know about Docker and how that's utilized within the XOR environment. Yeah, pretty much everything to do with integration scripts and so on. Okay, so the first part of this obviously is going to be the marketplace. The marketplace, as I've shown you several times before, we've looked at it in many different contexts, I suppose you could call it, up to this point. But the marketplace is a storefront, as the slide suggests, for finding, downloading, exchanging, and contributing security orchestration content within the XOR platform. Just to finish that off, this is basically where you're going to get your integrations from. This is where you're going to get your content packs and so on. And it's as we've seen before, it's very easy to use. The exam is going to want you to know how you go about using it, so how you would search for a specific vendor, let's say, or a specific use case. Unfortunately, of course, this is actually really intuitive. I mean, as you can see, we've got in this screenshot, we've got use cases, integrations, categories, who's it published by, free or premium, certified, supported, so on and so on. So it is really easy, to be honest. Okay, so the content packs and the support types differ based on where those content packs have come from. So partner supported content packs, as it suggests, are supported by technology partners. I don't know, so you just take one off the top of your head. So FireEye, for instance, is a technology partner, and they have integrations, and they have content packs with integrations, playbooks, scripts, and so on that interact specifically with their products. The support and maintenance is provided by the partner, and the details of this are all found in the content packs themselves, how you would go about looking for support with it. Technology partners are required to join the industry standard support framework, TSA.net, so the exam will want you to know that yes, they are. This is full and proper support. Developer supported content packs, on the other hand, applies to the content packs published by third-party developers. Support maintenance is provided by that developer, and the contact details are included in the content pack details. So additional help and support is always available through XOR Live discussions at the Palo Alto Live community. If you haven't been to the Palo Alto Live community, then at some point you need to go. It is an awesome community of people. They are very, very quick to respond. There's lots and lots of information there. There's lots of really good discussions, and if you're taking any kind of certification with Palo Alto, or indeed you work with Palo Alto, any of their products, it's definitely somewhere to check out. Okay, so then the third type is the community supported content packs. And this applies, obviously, as the name would suggest, to content packs that are published by Palo Alto Networks or third-party developers. No support or maintenance is provided for these content packs. Customers are encouraged to engage with the community to solve any issues. And I have seen many, many examples of issues being solved very quickly. Because the community is genuinely a community. It's everybody wants to sort of work together. Okay, so accessing the marketplace. Free access to the marketplace has been seen in previous videos. However, for subscription-based content, it is slightly different. So when you're looking to purchase subscription-based content from providers, you need a user account registered with Palo Alto Networks. This isn't your Cortex login details. This is your Palo Alto Networks account. and then you need to apply for XOR Marketplace through the support hub, and then the user has to have a role assigned in the hub. And these are the roles that can be assigned. So you have an account administrator, app administrator, instance administrator, marketplace administrator. And as you can see there, it then becomes varied as to what privileges that you have. It's everything with zero trust is you've got to, if in doubt, work on a zero trust model. So the whole idea is essentially to only allow people to have the privilege to do and change what you want them to, nothing outside of that, because that way you also limit, as well as limiting sort of people changing stuff they don't know about or something like that, you also limit the scope of a breach should credentials be lost, because that person can only, if Dave, for instance, loses his credentials and he comes in and goes, you know what, I think my account's been compromised or something like that, you know for a fact that Dave's only got access to a certain amount of things. Whereas if Dave has full access, he's an account administrator, which has been the default position for quite some time, you know that you've got a problem on your hands, because anything that Dave could do, whoever has now got the credentials can do. Okay, so now we're going to go and have a look at how content can be searched, because it really wants you to know that. So it wants you to know how you can search around the marketplace, update and download. Now we've done this before as well, but as a quick refresher, we'll just go quickly through the marketplace and quickly show what can and can't be done and how it can and can't be done. It's only a really quick one, because as I say, we've done this before and it is really intuitive. Okay, so the marketplace, whilst we've talked about this before, we need to just go through it again just to make sure we've got everything all under control and everybody knows where everything is and how to search through it, because it's quite a big part of the PCSAE exam. So this is the marketplace. We can see we've got many ways of searching. So we can search by, we can come to here for use cases, for instance. So we can search by breach and attack simulation, breach notification, brute force, case management, all these types of things. That you got the usual suspects there. That was just absolutely useless. So we've got ransomware, phishing, so on. So if we were to go to that, and then we can just look and see which ones there are, whether they're free, whether they're subscription. And then also it needs to be noted as well that once you've downloaded it, it's not actually regarded as being installed until you've created an instance of it. It's just downloaded. You have the file. Okay, so we've got the breach and attack simulation platform, which I'll admit I haven't seen before. You have the basic at the top, just this is what's included in the pack. This is what you're getting. So you've got 9 indicator types, and it shows you the indicator types that you've got. The automations that you have, join lists of dicts together, dictionaries, list group by, instant fields. So this is going into what we was talking about before about how you can create your own instant fields, and they've created their own for this one. So you have safe breach remediation data, and it's a gridders table, vendor specific remediation data, the incident types. So these are the 2 incident types that you're going to have. So you're going to have safe breach insight or safe breach simulation, those 2 incidents. The indicator fields, the field itself and what it is, Boolean checkbox, number, short text. I can click on it. My mouse is useless. The integration itself, what it does. Here you can click into the commands that come with it. So these are the commands that you would run Again, with the exclamation mark first, because you're going to run a command in an integration. And then we have layouts as well included in this content pack. So we've got safe breach command. These are the same as we talked about before with the different layouts. So you would create, it comes in as a incident, and then based on what type of incident it is, that's where you get your mapping, and then your layout is defined there. And then we have the playbooks for the automation. And that's clearly, that you can see it's create instance per insight and associate indicators, non-behavior insights feeds, and so on. So if we want to install this now, we can install it. Install. And in its own time it will happen. Okay, so if we now go to integrations, and what was it? It was, oh, got to refresh the content first, sorry. And now we've got safe breach there, and as you can see, we've got the same list of commands that we had previously, and we can add an instance, and we have all the details in there that we put in, whether we want to use an engine, API key for safe breach, account ID for safe breach, and so on. So that's basically installing. Oh no, go back to Marketplace. So that's installing a content pack and the parts that you get with it. Obviously, if you don't want to search for, you can reset the filters. You could search just for categories, analytics and SIM, authentication. You can search for published by. So are they published by Cortex XOR, as we discussed in the last one? So it's only published by Cortex XOR. And then you've got all the ones here. It tells you they're free. Then we have, hang on, where was I with that one? So yeah, Cortex XOR. If I clear that off, or there you've got free or premium. There aren't that many premium ones at the minute, as far as I'm aware. Not really looked at. I mean, I spent most of my time looking at the free ones, if I'm perfectly honest. And then if you're looking for content packs that include specific types of things that you want, so do you want layouts? So if you go for layouts, then this is going to show you content packs that come with layouts. You can filter by integration, price, or tags as well. So you can filter by tags. It should be noted, as we saw in the slides, that you do need, so if I go to access my account, for instance, up here, because I haven't registered, you can see there that it needs the Palo Alto Network's customer support portal credentials, which require you to register your support portal for XOR specific. I haven't done that yet, so I'm not going to. And that's it, really. So that's the marketplace kind of gone through. It is really intuitive, to be honest. And again, whilst we're here, I just want to back everybody up on this because I hated this the first time I did it. So if we go to update available, that, update, all good. And then that does the bulk update. Okay, so we'll move on through this now. I say it's quite a long section, this one, this domain, but it is only the last two, so we're nearly there. And it really does show the depth and use of XOR. Okay, so if we go to IP quality score, see it works with quality score following integrations. And then what we're going to do is we're going to install it. That's going to download it. Press the content. If we go back to the settings, integrations, And then we've got IP quality score there, partner contribution. Click into it. We can see the content that's involved, the integrations, dependencies, just depends on Cortex base, the version history, and there's currently no reviews for it. If you wanted then to delete that, then delete it, and that removes the pack from XOR. Okay, so another part, obviously, of course, is as we talked about before, was the contributions. So if you want to contribute a pack, so if you want to put a pack together and then put it up, so if you select your these are all the classifiers that I've created. So we would add that. And then dependencies in other content packs. So those are the dependencies for my external scanning mapping. If I wanted to then, so you can see these are required because this was built using these. If I wanted an automation that I've built, add that one. Okay, and then we can see that we've got the dependencies settled there. So if I now wanted to contribute that, I could save that. Okay, and I could save it. So you can contribute it. If we click on that and then contribute, you can see that your contribution needs to be reviewed. Save and submit your contribution. That submits it immediately to XOR. You can put a description in, or you can save and download as we did before. So that's pretty much the marketplace all the way through. You can browse your install content packs. There they all are. You can browse for content packs. You can download them. Certified ones, free ones, paid ones. It is really, really intuitive. And I say that's all I'm going to do. That's a really quick one there because it doesn't need to go any further than that, really. Done it a few times now, but you will be asked, and the exam will expect you to have a good understanding of how you download. And one thing to get caught out on is when it asks you if it's installed because you've downloaded it. No, it's there and it can be used, but creating an instance of the downloaded integration is regarded then as installing it, because until then it's just a file on the computer. It's not actually installed. Computer on the box server. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about Docker, because it wants you to describe the relationship between Docker and the marketplace. So it wants you to understand essentially why Docker, for a start. So what are the benefits of Docker? Why you use it rather than installing everything as an application onto the server, and how that helps the ecosystem, and when integrations and content packs and things like this are being disseminated around the community, how using Docker helps that. Now, this may be a little bit like teaching people to suck eggs. I'm not a Docker expert, so I do apologize. But learning some way around Docker or some knowledge of Docker is useful here. However, it isn't massively in depth, as I've seen from the certification. Could stand to be corrected, but essentially they just want you to understand why and how you use it. Okay, so what is Docker? It is what it says there on the slide. It's used to package all the dependencies together for an application. It goes into a single container, and then the theory is that container can then run anywhere, exactly as it did in the development environment, because it holds all the dependencies and everything within that single image. As it says there, Docker containers include all the dependencies for the application to work. It removes the need for them to be installed on each separate machine. So regardless of where you install it, you no longer have to do a pip install. XOR primarily uses Docker to run Python scripts and integrations in a controlled environment, so that it is isolated from the server environment to prevent accidental compromise of the main XOR server. I would also tend to suggest and put my opinion forward that not only does it make it easier and a lot more reliable to use Docker, but I mean the cleanup from removing applications and stuff, and you continually sort of adding applications and taking applications away from the entire Linux infrastructure is going to be a lot more messy. It's going to need a lot more downtime, whereas Docker is Docker. It goes in, it runs. As long as you can maintain it correctly, it is so much more reliable, and it's such a better way of doing it. Okay, so that's pretty much what you're going to need to know for Docker. So we've got the benefits of custom content. It wants you to understand the benefits of custom content over other content, and the benefits are fairly straightforward. I mean, they're written by you for your environment, for instance. So if you have any quirks or you have anything that needs doing, you can add that into your code, as opposed to having to try and work around anything. That the whole idea behind XOR is the ability to integrate entirely and seamlessly with any environment, because whenever you don't have seamless integration, you have gaps, and where you have gaps, people will get through. It's, you can get a 50p piece into a round hole, but the hole has to be big enough to allow for the points, and the points allow for gaps, and then before you know it, you've got loads of holes. They can be shared with the community, as we've seen. You can contribute to them. I dare say you can probably even make a reasonable amount of money from them if you write something really good. So there is a way forward for that. And as I say, it allows the complete flexibility within challenging environments. So if you have a certain use case that isn't dealt with by the standard stuff, and I mean, have a look first, because there is a wide range. I believe there's over 500 integrations at the time of the video, and that's growing all the time. So have a look first and see what there is. Most vendors are catered for, and that is that's the benefits of custom content. Okay, so implementing your new content. Once you've designed your new content, you submit it to XOR, as we saw. You click the contribute and you upload it. It's reviewed, and any dependencies that are missed to make it work are added. Your code is also reviewed against their code standards and can be changed. It is then published to the marketplace, assuming everything's all good, and you can download it and install it. All the free content is open source and is in the XOR GitHub repo with an MIT license. There are slightly different approaches for subscription content that you contribute, and you need to make sure that it's a bit more like crossing all your T's and dotting all your I's. Everything is just that bit more scrutinized, and you have to include everything in it. You need to make sure that it's going to work, and it's got to be perfect. So there are different dependencies. All content is reviewed, absolutely. It's the official Docker repository for XOR. No, if there isn't, you can't just write something, send it off to the marketplace, and then suddenly people just start downloading it, because that would make this a very, very unsafe platform. So everything is reviewed before it's available to anybody else. So offline installation. As we saw, you can download your integration, your content pack, that you've contributed. So you can download that, and that comes down as a zip file. So if you have an entirely air-gapped installation that has no network access, no internet access, no network access would be pointless, but no internet access, you can download the zip file, and then you can upload that content to the marketplace on your instance. However, before doing that, you have to do these to stop it trying to sync with the marketplace as it's coming up, because it will try and sync everything that you put onto it. and this basically will make the performance of doing what you're doing one hell of a lot quicker. And these are in the settings about troubleshooting, and then the ad server configuration, which we'll just look at in a minute. And that's it for the slides for this one. We'll just go through that, and then that's it. It's on to domain 6. Okay, so as we've seen there in the slides, XOR relies on Docker underneath in order to host integrations and run Python scripts and so on, in order to keep it, I suppose, entirely separate from the server itself, because a container is a container and it runs completely on its own. So to list the you'll have to find your way around it, really. There's nothing particularly special about the Docker that's on XOR, so learning Docker is a good idea. I mean, learning Docker is a good idea anyway. I quite like it. But if we were to look and see the images that we have, we can list them. And so here we can see the Docker images that we have currently available on my instance of XOR. Python 3, EPSOCs, and when they were created, and the container ID, how big they are, and the tag, and so on. If we were to want to create a Docker image, we can do that from here as well. Docker image create. Oh yeah, need a name, obviously. Name would be example name. Dependencies. So we need, and then you add the dependencies that you're going to need from it. This is just straight off of the the demo version, so that you can see. And then the packages that you need. We get, so now if we run that now, that will go away and get that, and we just wait for the, there you go, we just wait for it there. And so now we've got example name, the size of it, when it was created, and that's creating a Docker image. So you can now use that Docker image if you wanted to. If you wanted to, you could build any Docker image you wanted.